Everything's working. It's crazy. Oh, people. It's hot. Talk about a few things today. Good morning, Lori. Tired, up early in the morning. Tired but awake. Oh, I'm tired too. I was up late last night. Ooh. Lori and Beth and Rebecca and Zelda and Heaven and Buddha and Sarah. A whole bunch of people in the house this morning. Oh, I'm exhausted. I was up late last night streaming. Had to stream with somebody from Danielle, Sister Danielle St. John. Congress. Sometimes you got to talk to Congress, y'all. Sometimes you got to talk to the real Congress, not the evil, killing, murdering bastards that everybody else puts in Congress. How's everybody doing this morning? Happy Friday. It's Friday, right? Friday. I got a few things I want to talk about. Getting into some discussions. I don't know if y'all saw, we were talking on, whose thread was that? Sister Jessica's thread. She's always posting this stuff on the law, and she had a great post on the philosophers. Philosophy. You know, all those people y'all murdered, kill everybody. Anybody who thinks forward is like a death sentence. We're talking Aristotle and Socrates and Plato. They're disgust for your democracy. They had nothing to do with your democracy. They hated your democracy. They were scared to death of it. I know why. It took me years to figure out why. We are in the mess of an apocalypse. How's everybody doing this morning? Talk about Tesla a little bit today. Talk about patents. How your patent office and national security determine what the hell people get to use for technology, what kind of cars they get to drive. But they have to fly. Try to bring everybody together around this topic of, you know, climate change is probably a bad thing. I don't care so much about who's causing climate change, because the climate's always changed, and plus that's what they want you to fight about. I have no interest in your fight. My interest is, what can we do to preserve how many mammals go extinct every week? How many fish go extinct every day? Insects, everything's dying around us, just dying. Some people can't see it, others see it all the time, but it's because they're locked in this silly little argument. Nikola Tesla, a brother that was vindicated long time ago, did some UFO drawings. That's his drawing back there. I think that's his, isn't that his? He had a drawing for an anti-gravity device, looked like a UFO. And where did he get that idea? I don't know. I suppose from the same place we got the idea for crystals and scepters, and eventually, eventually you always mimic something you see that you can't understand. I don't think there's anything new under the sun. Do y'all know that scripture? The scripture that says there's nothing new under the sun. What does that mean? Does that mean we're a species that constantly mimics what we see? We see things and we try to figure out what we're looking at, try to figure out where it came from. We try to figure out how it works. And our minds are constantly reverse engineering and figuring things out. Aren't we born as children and we look at our adults and what they do determines what we do? We become, our personalities are formed by tidbits of mom, dad, uncle, aunt, brothers, what we see in our world. We're constantly doing that. There's nothing new under the sun. Did you know that Nikola Tesla was known for saying aliens? He was in contact with the aliens. Did you know that, Nikola? Do y'all know who Nikola Tesla is? I think y'all do. A lot of y'all woke up. He said the aliens were real. He said he talks with them. He came up with anti-gravity devices. And then magically he died and the Germans created a device that looked just like it, the Die Glocke. Then of course the Germans were killed, some of them. And then America started producing, well, Americans started seeing in mass things that they only saw every now and then, flying in the sky, these flying saucer things. I think the truth is always stranger than fiction, and I think that how things worked in the past, they're working now. I think that them finding hammers and blocks of wood or blocks of stone them finding plates or bowls and clay, these out of place artifacts. There's nothing new under the sun. I think we're constantly going back and relearning what we lost. I want to look at a few things this morning. The news was kind of interesting. It's sort of interesting. Kind of, sort of. I wasn't that interested. At this point, to be honest with you, I mostly just laugh at the news. I really don't watch it. I just kind of laugh at it. I look at it like, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, that's dumb, that's whatever. So we can deal with that. I want to kind of talk about Tesla for a little bit. How you think Tesla was the smartest man alive? I think he was too. If he wasn't, he damn sure was in the top two, top three. Everything we have is Tesla technology. All your smartphones, your fax machines, your cars, all of these things. Competition. There's a debate nowadays where people are still debating. They say, and I'll be honest with you, I've switched positions. I used to be in the position that it was a good idea for human beings to compete. And it drives technology. That if you starve a human being and they got to get a job and work for a corporation, that they'll make great technology, will move forward, that all human technological advancement came from human beings feeling the need to compete against each other, push the other down so they can climb to the top. And they say, so we have to compete. We have to keep moving forward, competing with each other to produce wealth for ourselves. Get the patent so we can have the money. We can store our coffers. We can fill them up. We always get played in the end, don't we? We always get played. I don't think that development over competition is a bad thing. Not necessarily. It is a thing. It's the thing that we've chosen. And it's a thing that has held us back thousands of years in technology. Thousands, because it's always crony. So you can be a Tesla. You can be one of the smartest men alive. You can come up with some of the greatest inventions on this planet and apply for your patent. And what happens? But in America, I can tell you what happens, which is, I'm sure it's pretty much what happens all around the world. Some of y'all know what I'm hitting on. I'm hitting on the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. The act that said that we will be at extinction level event in 2020. The act that steals technology, the act that stole, was it 5,000 over 5,000 patents, mostly energy devices, to keep us using oil. The car was developed, when was the car made? Was it 1850 something or 1890 something by, I posted it this morning. What's the brother's name? Who invented the car? Because I know y'all say, Henry Ford. That's what I thought too. When I was a kid, they taught me that. It's like Henry Ford invented the car. No, he didn't. It was George B. Selden invented the car in 1895. The car was in your driveway, in the parking lot right now. Where you at work? A car. 1895. 1895. He invented the car. And we're still driving a car today. But the right calls climate change. Donald Trump calls climate change. Human competition and ignorance and cronyism cause all of our problems from the very beginning. I don't think it's a good idea to compete with each other. I think we have more than enough to compete about. I think the world is trying to kill us. I think microbiology is trying to kill us. I think the avian flu is trying to kill us. I think viruses are trying to kill us. I think bears are trying to eat us when they don't have a berry bush. If they're aliens, they're trying to kill us. Something's always trying to kill us. Not all the aliens. Some of them bad. According to you, listen to the whistleblowers. Some of y'all don't believe them, so that's up to you. Asteroids are trying to kill us. The water's always rising all around this planet. We're always fighting off some hurricanes, some tsunamis, So that's why I'm not big on the climate change debate. That's just the latest thing trying to murder us. The real question is, are we doing anything about it? We've been driving cars since 1895, and we're still driving them today. Gasoline, fossil fuel. But a big problem, what happened in 1895 is after George B. Selden invented the car, and Nikola Tesla, between then and Nikola Tesla inventing the electric motor, Ford and Rockefeller were working on a car that was gas powered. 1900s, early 19, was it like 1911? They got into a fight over the patent. Ford was losing. The Rockefellers jumped in. Henry Ford. By the way, how many of y'all drive Ford? Drive Ford. They were in the news too. Bastards. What were they doing? They were shoveling. What country was that? The Ford? They were taking people and forcing them to work in their factories like they were using literally for slave labor. Somewhere in Latin America, and they just sued, and now they just won. The fact that they were killing people like Chiquita Burnett and everybody else and had forced slavery, all these corporations that make everything crony. So Rockefeller came to Ford's defense. We've been driving a car ever since because if Nikola Tesla put an electric motor in Selden's car, electricity would have driven our future. CO2, this thing that everybody's fighting about. Everybody needs some French climate accords and climate change agreements, and you got one party fighting climate change, making climate change, the other one, and no one's doing any damn thing about it, and the other one's not doing it. Crony world, competition, because they're all competing. They're all competing, whether it be the inventors, whether it be the people who live in the house, whether it be the nations, whether it be the corporations. It's this idea that we don't have enough to compete about all damn ready. I'm always about what do we do about it? I really don't care about the current condition. I want to know what we do about it. It's just how my brain thinks. I've been doing problem solving in the corporate world for a couple decades. All I care about is solving the problem because I don't like to waste time. I don't like to waste your time, I don't waste my time. Come in the meeting in the morning, I got my coffee, you got your coffee, we all sit around the boardroom. What is the problem? This is the problem, and you got everybody else, or a lot of people, who don't want to solve the problem. They make a lot of money sitting in the office. You know, Barbara come in and sit down, she got her coffee, she bring the bagel and donuts. Rockefellers and the Ford already got a deal to mine fossil fuel all over this planet, make trillions of dollars, getting billions of people to drive automobiles. Get to the root of the problem. Think about what you can do about the root of the problem. And we don't ever do that. So we've been driving these car damn things for over 100 years on fossil fuels. Secrets. Do we do better? Let me ask this question. Do we do better looking at the serious murderers of the human race? Or do we do better competing with each other for a little better lifestyle? Like, what would drive technology faster forward? How my mind works. People are lazy. People do tend to be lazy. People like to create, but they like to be lazy. Corporate America, we're Silicon Valley, where we're driving forward fast with innovation and technology. No, we're not. Most people in your office, do they give 100%? They give 120%? Like, this is a test of our model in society. Does this actually work? I mean, you got Teslas every now and then. Yeah, they'll put 150% into it. They'll nail it. They won't go to sleep. You know, I'm tired now. Ty is tired now. There are people who would drive forward, but the vast majority of people in corporate America, in corporate France, and corporate Britain, and corporate Russia, the people driving forward the human race so we can fix everything before this planet dies under our feet and reboots and kills everybody on it, before the next asteroid comes. Are we driving forward as fast as we can in a world full of people who hate Monday? Because I know people like to make the debate. Oh, well, we need competition. You know where I'm going with it. Some of y'all like, get that capitalism. I'm not saying I'm not the get the capitalism person. I just look at this fact that we were pitted against each other in competition since the very beginning. And we work together, we do better than when we work against each other. Why? Because when we work against each other, we work against our whole as a self. I don't believe in competition. I think that you should do the things you love. And I think when you do the things you love, you don't hate Monday. Hate Monday. Hate Monday might even be a thing. Competition is not driving us forward fast. It's holding us back. We are thousands of years, if not 100,000 years behind, if not millions of years behind where we would be if we let people do the things they loved and they put in 120%. Imagine that. Where would we be if we didn't have the Rockefellers that could co-opt the system? Where would we be if we had the banks and a federal government that can convince you that it's in the interest of national security to cause human extinction in 2027? When are they saying we're going extinct? I forgot. I don't even check the date. I gotta check the dates. I gotta have my nice shirt on that day. What's the date? Somebody got the date. What day are we going extinct? Is it 2035? 2022? What day are we all gonna die? What day? Because we all gonna die. Because we believe national security is going to somebody else's house and murdering them, stealing what they got, pitting them against other people while we pit against each other. That's national. You know, the greatest threat to national security is national security. That's the greatest threat. If you really, really think about it, the greatest threat to the human population, the greatest threat to the planet and every species on it is national security. It's us. This idea we got to compete, that nations got to compete. They got to keep secrets. You got to keep secrets. You got to compete with your wife because you're slipping out on Thursday nights. You got to compete with your husband because Tyrone had the competition versus working together. What is the life expectancy of a marriage where people are in competition with each other? Probably the same life expectancy of a planet where the nations are in competition with each other. I think our problems are a lot easier than we think. So I'm gonna show you something. There's something I appreciated. I was following, I'm always listening to lectures when I go to sleep. And I wake up in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, somebody talking about this, that, the other, and I'm half paying attention, half awake. That's probably why I don't sleep. I need to actually go to sleep when I sleep. I can't, my brain doesn't shut off. It always wants to kind of do something. And I ran into Stephen Greer again. If you don't spend time on seriousdisclosure.com, you absolutely should. Let me see if I can show you this. And we might get into the news. I don't know what I feel like. Y'all tell me what y'all feel like. So we have energy devices, and we've always had high energy devices. There's always scientists working on things. There are 5,000 patents that are being held from you. If your fight is against climate change, then your fight is not against a Wright or a Donald Trump or an EPA. They all don't give a damn. They're doing just as bad with climate change as the left is, and Obama and all the and Paris Climate Accords. Why are people fighting right now in Paris? Why are the yellow vests in the street? Energy. Energy. Everything since the beginning of time was energy. So this was interesting. I don't know if you heard of this. This is on disclosure.com. I'll give you the link. The Federation of American Scientists published an extremely important article in October 2010 entitled Invention Secrecy. Still going strong. It comes from a mainstream organization and corroborates information the Orion Project has presented. We are constantly asked, if better energy systems existed, why are they not available for public use? Competition. Competition. We got to get out of this mindset. And I'll go down the page. I don't want to show you everything, but it goes down through the inventions that people come up. You come up with an invention, you go to the patent office, they take it. Stanley Myers with the water fuel cell. Oh, you can't see the whole thing. I can kind of move it over. I'll give them a link. You can go through it. You know, but water that powers cars. Actually splitting the molecules of water. All this new technology being covered up. The Tesla UFO. You know, whether he got it from aliens, he came up with the idea himself, then the Germans jumped on top of it. Then Germany was invaded, Russia, and Germany was stopped, and Russia and America started doing their own. Now you start seeing everybody seeing UFOs. They see UFOs in New York City. I don't think it's a UFO personally. I think it's IFO. That's me. I think most of them say United States Air Force on the side, United or Russia. Why? Because we believe in these bouts. We believe in these fights. We believe. What's the current thing? Russia is the enemy, right? Russia is the enemy. We gotta Russia. We gotta get them. They changed our election because they put this guy in office and I don't like him. He keeps putting his penis in places I don't like. Oh, the planet's dying. You know what they found out yesterday? Was it yesterday? It was in the news? You know how much the evil Russians spent meddling in your election? Do you know how much? What's the GDP of the United States of America? $100 billion. I don't know. I don't even pay attention to it because I don't care. They print the money. They print the money. I don't know if I said it yet today, but they print the money. I try to say it every day. They print the money. I'm not sure if you're paying attention, but they print the money. I'm not sure if you get the fact that they actually print all the money they need. And they just take money from you to keep you poor. I don't know if you get that yet. I don't know if you realize you're being played. But $100 billion, I don't know. Let's just say the US GDP, $100 trillion. What difference does it make? They print the money. Apparently, Russia picked your president. They meddled in your election. They just destabilized democracy. They took on American democracy. And how much did Hillary Clinton spend for her campaign? $80 million. I don't know. $80 trillion. It doesn't matter. They print the money. Did I tell you they print the money? You know how much Russia spent, according to Google? Nobody posted it. Y'all didn't see it yet. Should I say it? I should. Russia spent $4,700. They added up the Russian accounts on Google. They added up the Russian accounts and they announced in the hearing that Russia spent $4,700, a whopping $4,700 to pick the leader of the unfree world. Man, and we believe it. We go with it. We get angry. You hated Russia. I know you were mad at them. I know, because they told you, they lied to you, baby. I'm just gonna try to tell you the truth. I know it's hard to take in. I know he said grab him in the thingy. I know, you don't like it. I know. You know what? You know how many times a day I see something I don't like? You know how many times a day I see stuff I don't like all damn day. I see stuff all the time. I don't say nothing. A lot of things I don't like. Shoot, and some of the things I see, I don't want to see. All I'm gonna say is you just don't get no millionaire stalker after you. Oh my God. I see stuff I don't want to see. But we see stuff we don't like all the time. But Russia had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. This is all about money. It's all about control. It's all about power. It's all about resources. So levitation technology experiments, pitting people against each other. So we have all this technology. Now this one interests me. I didn't spend any time here. I need to go over here. But in, what is this? 1919, Dr. Kowalski and his assistant, Engineer Frost, succeeded in performing a levitation experiment using quartz crystals, where they made the crystal levitate. Imagine that. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Is that in any way? Hold on, let me go over here. I gotta do a quick search. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Anything made of quartz? You know what I did? This is what I spent the other night. Wasn't last night. The other night before that, I forgot. I was watching videos from the 1950s and what they were, the military was using crystals for. Is there anything else on this planet that's made of crystals? Quartz crystal, one of the most stringent crystal devices. One of the crystals they say is the sturdiest, which is why they use quartz crystals and everything. Pyramids. So I was sitting there and I was watching this video, and it was an old military video. He was explaining how a crystal is like a useless object in terms of electricity and energy until you put a point on it at the top. Until you put it on the point. I was like, wow, this is deep. I was watching old video. The guy was growing crystals and he was explaining different types of crystals and how you add electricity to them and energy and make them do things. Because I'm getting ready to do a crystal talk, but I'm doing my research and I got my friend come on and we'll talk about it. And you know, one of the things he said is that in order to use these crystals, that they have to have a point on them. They have to have a place to direct the energy. And I thought about how the pyramid is like the exact proportions of the earth at a fraction. And it's at a point, and it's on the earth, and it's made of quartz. I think about how in the world did the people get all these heavy quartz bricks, and some of them were sandstone, I think. But you had an inventor in 1919 that was levitating crystals. You have people now that levitate things through sound, which is just wave energy. When was a car invented? It was 1845, 1895, 1622, 1377. Does it even matter if we're not using the highest forms of energy to prevent what's coming? Are we using what we know to help each other? Or are we using what we know to take from each other? Are we any better than the CIA? Let's think about it. I'm hard on the CIA. CIA get on my nerves. I don't like y'all. I don't like y'all system. I can hate y'all. Jesus said I can hate you because you're a system. I don't hate the people. The people are just doing what they do. No more secrets. We can't have any more secrets, people. The patent office has to go. All of it. The patent office has to go. All the secrecy has to go. That's why I say I don't do politics, because we really don't have time to play these games. We don't have time to play these games. Who's grabbing who in the coochie? I don't care if you're you know what? If they find a president, if they find a person, if they find people who grabbing everybody in the testicles and poking the anuses and grabbing them in the coochie and whatever they're doing, and that man wants to bring about some no secrecy, that woman, whatever the might be, an alien or a dog, damn it, I'm down with it. Time we grow up. Time we grow up. All right, I'm gonna shift over to the news. So I found it interesting. I found it interesting that people still debate now in 2018, and a car was made in 1841. Car was made, let's say car was made in 1950, and 50 years later, we're still driving gasoline cars. That tells me that your method for development and innovation is all fudged up. People don't do well doing bare minimum efforts because they get a house, a car, a wife, a husband, and some kid, 2.5 kids, a dog, and a fence. And y'all didn't get that now. Start looking how bad Americans are doing. Okay, all right, I'm done with that one. I do want to look at some of the things in the news today. A few things I found interesting. Oh, they go to see the $4,700. $4,700! Y'all see $4,700? I don't know why he smelled. Oh, that's a bank ad. That's a bank commercial. Y'all know y'all not supposed to don't use banks. Banks are bad things.
Has given some specific numbers on alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 US election. Sundar Pichai was questioned by the US House Judiciary Committee.
Does Google now know the full extent to which its online platforms were exploited by Russian actors in the election 2 years ago?
There were two main ad accounts linked to Russia, which advertised on Google for about.
You can feel the tension in the room. All the politicians sitting around, Democrats salivating. It's getting ready. Oh, they're gonna say 47 million. It's gonna be 4 billion, 4 trillion. How much money they spend to circumvent democracy for this whole planet? 7.5 billion people being attacked by drones and flying craft and bombs. How much money did they spend to pick the new president? Everybody, attention in the room.
$4,700 in advertising. We also found other limited.
Total of $4,700.
Whoa, pause. What?
That's right.
Google, along with Facebook and Twitter, have been under scrutiny.
I think it's funny. I'm sorry, hold on. He didn't let him finish because he's ready. He's like, oh man, I'm getting elected next year. I done told all the Democrats, hell yeah, we gonna get them. We got the money. The Russia did it. It wasn't no damn Seth Rich because we killed him, but we getting ready to go. This is how I think the politicians, half of them don't know a damn thing. They're just doing a job. They're like Mary. She show up in the morning in the meeting, sit down at the boardroom, got the bagels. Okay, what's the job? The job is to get people to believe me, anything that I'm told to say, and get money from the lobby. That's the job. It's like, I thought it was funny. He stopped him. He was trying to explain it. There were other accounts. Whoa, 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 stop. What did you say? $4,700? We spent $100 million investing. This is what I'm saying. Y'all need to warm up the tar. You need to get the damn feathers. You know, try to do it in a vegan way. You can get a couple feathers from each bird. Y'all need to be tarring and feathering these people. Like, listen to this fool.
$700 in advertising, which you know, advertised on Google for about $4,700 in advertising. We also found other limited...
Total of $4,700?
That's right.
Google, along with Facebook and Twitter, have been under scrutiny for the past 2 years over the Russian meddling claims. The companies have extensively probed the activity of Russia-linked accounts, but no direct proof of meddling has been revealed so far. Legal and media analyst Lionel says that the latest testimony by Google casts doubt over the entire investigation.
This was their star witness.
No, they cast no doubt.
They could have done so much, had he said yes. There was an inordinate amount of pressure or influence and ads on the part of the Russians. But no, he said $4,700. Nothing big, $4,700. That's it? You mean to tell me that this has been the subject? It is embarrassing now. Since 2016, they have not found one example, not one bit of
All right, I'm stop laughing.
not one scintilla.
I'm stop. Lionel is funny. We're gullible. We get played. We gotta stop getting played. Stop getting played. They played you. But it wasn't a waste of money. It wasn't a waste because they don't care. They could care less. They gonna sit and fight through it because they got them to hate Trump. They got them to hate while France and everybody is flipping out. We're hating on dumb. Okay, speaking of dumb stuff. Israel. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. So apparently, 2 IDF soldiers were allegedly killed by a drive-by shooting in the West Bank. Drive-by shooting in the West Bank. Y'all know me. I don't condone violence. It's the right video. It's the raw feed. I don't condone violence. I don't at all. But I gotta explain something. West Bank, Gaza, Israel. 3 different locations. If you are Israel, where should your people with guns be? Because they're going to turn this into something. I think there's a better one. They're going to turn this into something. When you hear the ad, you need to understand it. So if the IDF were in South Central LA right now, they were in DC on a corner. You see where I'm going with this? People, they don't really like you coming to their town. And they don't really like you bringing men with guns. People are a little sensitive about that type of stuff.
Even without the prelude of a particularly violent night, this would have been a major incident. Now it risks becoming part of a wider escalation. The Israeli military said at least 1 Palestinian man got out of a car near this bus stop in the occupied West Bank and fired on a group of soldiers and civilians. The army said 2 soldiers were killed, 1 seriously injured.
The murder of Israelis, innocent Israelis standing at a bus stop, is unacceptable. We will not accept this terror here in Binyamin, here in Israel, and
it's not Israel.
We're going to have answers to this. We expect the government to build as many homes as possible, to do everything possible to stop this terror.
See, like, listen to what people see, and this is why I'm saying I know we are being brainwashed everywhere. This is why I don't take sides. When you listen to what people say, we need to build more homes to stop this vibe. We need to build more homes on somebody else in somebody else's country. Outside of the fact, we're not even gonna deal with the fact that as a world, we let you settle there. Why? Because the world opened its heart. Right? The world opened its heart and said, you know what? You guys you've had a hell of a time. You've had nowhere to settle, and we let you settle there. But it turns out, history repeats itself. The oppressors become the oppressed become the oppressors. And you can go further back in history. Back, I'm pretty sure you was oppressing probably before you were oppressed, and then back to oppressing again. If you are in somebody else's land with a bunch of people with guns, they're supposed to shoot you. I'm sorry, I don't understand why people don't understand that. Somebody was telling me a story the other day. I don't remember where this was from. Maybe some of y'all have heard of it. It was somewhere, it might have been around here. They said that there were home invaders trying to break into this woman's house. Probably was in Texas. And a woman warned them, like there were a couple guys trying to break in the house and she was home alone. For some reason, I think she was an old lady. Somebody, if you heard of this, please post a link. And she went to the door and she said, I have a gun, get out of here. Y'all need to go away, I got a gun. She basically said, this is my house, you're not supposed to be here, I have a gun. And the men still continue to force their way into the house. They forced their way into the house, she murdered one of them. She shot, I think she shot all of them, if I'm not mistaken. I think she could shoot. Listen, I know how to shoot straight. She knew how to shoot straight. And I think she got all of them. And the police rolled up and they hobbled back to the car, got away, drove as far as they could. Then they pulled over the side of the road and died. And apparently the police found the car. They're like, the hell? They found a car with dead people just hanging out. Like, the hell? And the police were trying to figure out what happened. They were trying to break in this old lady's house and she shot the hell out of them. If you are on a spot you're not supposed to be, bad things always happen. So I'm not condoning violence. I never condone violence. But if you are in the West Bank and you got a badge that says Israel and you're knocking down schools and you're knocking down hospitals because you want to put up a swimming pool and a new development in somebody else's land, just might get shot. Just might get shot. Now, being fair though, these kids in Israel are raised with hate. They're not raised to see the world with love. They're not raised to think that the Palestinians are human beings. That's why I'm saying I don't choose sides in this. I just look at it and say, you know what? We need to bring peace for these people. And the only way we bring peace for these people, the more people who want it over, the more people who want peace, the sooner we end this. And I'm always about end it now. If people are dying today, put the ego away. There are plenty of people in Israel who want it stopped. You just don't see their protest. There are plenty of Jews all around this world that want it over, which is why you can't attack the Jews. You have to speak about what it is. There's always a small percentage of psychopaths that are hiding in groups and they get away with it because they turn you against millions of people and you probably only got to be against 20. Think about how you speak. Because I'm sick of it personally. I don't know if y'all are. I'm really getting sick of it. And I hadn't talked to Brother Rezeg in a while, but it blew my mind when I did the interview with him. This was going back a couple months ago, and he explained in Gaza, and he said, no, the PLO is not on our side. Hamas is not on our side. They're on their side. Israel is not on the Israel people's side. They're on their side. Zionists, whatever political party, because that's all it is that actually is running things, they make their own decisions. And the three have one thing in common: sending troops over to Gaza, sending troops to the West Bank, stealing land, kicking kids out, causing conflict, and all the poor people fighting. All the leaders on all three of those sides, they got that in common. That's why I'm saying you have to talk to people who are on the ground. And that's why I wanted to interview him, because I want to know what's happening on the ground, not what's happening in the news. The news always, they have this pitting thing. They form an argument where this side is all for this and this side is all for this, and it doesn't work that way. You always have these poor people are being dominated by these psychopathic leaders, and these poor people are being dominated by these. And if you want peace, you want both of the sides to come together and say, we're done. Like, why are we leaning towards a war with Russia right now? Why are we leaning towards a proxy war? Because you got special people on this side believe in the lying government above, fighting with other people on this side, even though you got a lying government above you that's making big dollars. on human conflict, suppressing technologies, going around the world, starting wars, and killing people. All right, so let's keep going. I missed a few comments. That's a whole bunch of comments. Hold on, let me see. What y'all got going on this morning? Hamas was created on the purpose of fake resistance. Thank you, Ty. And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit. Because, Ty, you know what? I wake up in the morning, I look at this world, and I realize that this world is a lie. I look at this world, I look at Nikola Tesla, I look at the energy and the patents, I look at Russia versus America versus and Canada and all of this stuff, and all it is a lie. It's always about power and control. And so to create a Hamas, to be a fake resistance, to cause problems, to all work together, that's nowhere near anything that would be shaped like what they would call a conspiracy theory, which is never a bad thing because the governments are always conspiring. The leaders always conspire. The only thing the leaders don't conspire is against each other. They don't conspire against each other. Oh, no. You think Putin hates Trump? You think Putin actually doesn't like Obama? You think the people who run all of this, you don't think that they meet on the same golf course? You don't think that they're friends and they don't all agree on one thing, even if it's not spoken out loud? They agree on your domination. The kings always agree on your domination. And you will stay in control underneath that king. That's why the kings always come to each other's aid. That's a historical thing. That's how it always works. Be careful how you talk. I saw this, so this was interesting. 2 migrant teams climbing over the border fence. 18 feet. Why would you make the border fence 18 feet? Fell, got hurt. Teams. I know the first thing, if you're on one of the little silly lion sides, you're gonna sit there and say to yourself, well, why are they climbing over the fence? Because they're teams. If you were raised where they were raised, and you were shown what they were shown, and you were fleeing gangs, you would migrate too. Just like any bird, bee, duck, buffalo, or billy goat. You leave a bad land, you go to the good land. So they make the fence 18 feet high. Why? Because that's what Hillary Clinton wanted. That's what Trump wanted. That's what they all want. A high wall that people will hurt themselves when they try to migrate. But I bet you birds fly over that wall just fine. And I get pissed off when I see stuff like this. I try not to let it show. I get annoyed with it. Because instead of helping the people, we're building higher walls. We're building thicker walls. We're getting more people with guns. And they got this game, because you know how the game goes. If you actually get on the land and you say you want asylum, that they got to take you in and try to process you for asylum. And so we make the wall as high as possible, thinking people aren't desperate enough. I can tell you me, what would I do? I actually said, what would you do? If you were born in Latin America and there was a war on drugs raging and people in your town were being raped and shot, would you take your chances if you were, I don't know, 16 and you didn't have a frontal lobe, a fully developed human frontal lobe, and all you were processing is that I'm gonna die over here, I'm being murdered, raped, and killed because that big, massive nation destroyed my country and continues to use it for slave labor and steal its resources, buying its government, or am I gonna go take my chance at an 18-foot wall? I know what I do. That's why I don't judge them. I don't judge anybody migrating at all, and I don't have any interest on either sides of the discussion because they're both stupid. Both of them driven by psychopaths. The leadership, DNC and GOP, and all throughout Europe convincing you that you're better because you were born in Germany, that you deserve this land that thousands of your ancestors were murdered for, that you were born in America and you deserve this land. They don't deserve it. They were born in the stork landed them in a different spot. They don't deserve none of this. You deserve it. They don't deserve it. So let's shoot them and let's keep them out. Let's let them starve. Let's keep colonizing their land because you're special. You're better. And that's why most of the black people in this country have turned their back on the black people all over this world, in Africa too. Because they're better. I don't do better. I'm not interested in better. I'm interested in the world being fixed. Car was invented by the Flintstones. Brother Augustin Lopez on YouTube said the car was invented. But you know what, Augustin, my first car was, speaking of that, yeah, my first car was a 1974 Volkswagen Bug. It had a hole in the side, and I'd take my friends to school. They could run their feet. You can see the bottom. Check this out. This is another thing. You know how what the hell is that? Future Man. I don't know what that is. But you know how the trade wars?
An effort to put.
I like trade wars. Something Trump got wrong. I got in trouble yesterday. Everybody yelling, screaming, and crying about me and my quotes. Listen, I don't give a damn who says something. If it's true, it's true. If Bernie said it, if Trump said it, if May said it, if any of your psychopaths, if any of them say it, I'm good with it. If it's true, it's true. If it came out of the Bible, the Quran, the Gita, if it's true, it's true. I posted something and everybody didn't lost a fit, but not gonna go through that. So just look at how things are going. Do the presidents ever do what they say they're gonna do? Some of them do some of it, but do all of them do all of it? So a lot of my friends said they want a president that does deals. They didn't like the TPP. Why didn't you like the TPP? I was hoping that you didn't like the TPP because you realize that trade deals are for billionaires. They're not for you. They don't benefit you in any way at all, ever, at all. Say, well, we get cheaper things at Target and Walmart. Yeah, but you can get those cheaper things made locally. We just can use slave labor in another nation, and so that corporation like Ford did can have a better bottom line because the people don't make as much money, which takes your jobs. At a certain point in time, you start to have to realize Donald Trump is not bringing jobs back. I know, every now and then they say we're bringing 12,000, we're bringing 13,000. At a certain point in time, like the Obama voters should have figured out, Obama was not ending wars. Wasn't helping people, wasn't building houses, he was building prisons. But of course, you never find about that till years later. And if you've already bought into it. So the trade deals that were going away, the TPP, went away. Damn it, we don't want to trade with China. We need to make a lot of money. We don't want to trade with China, we want American made. Guess what? Donald Trump is proposing the biggest trade deal ever on the planet. It's just going to be fabulous. Biggest trade deal ever with China.
But a trade deal with China first. Donald Trump has hinted he may intervene in the controversial arrest in Canada of a boss of Huawei, the Chinese tech giant.
If I think it's good for the country, if I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing, what's good for national security, I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary.
See, this is why I'm stopping. I stop because this is why I try to show people every day, it doesn't matter who is president. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's in Congress. Doesn't matter who's in the Senate. They make you think it matters, and you get emotional, and you fight with other poor people that have nothing. And the billionaires, they already made their mind up. We're going to do this trade deal, or either you're going to die, somebody in your family going to die. Why? Because that's how they operated. They did it to JFK. It doesn't matter who's president. You are going to do what they tell you to do. The same way Donald Trump said it. That was a quote. Because he got on television. He's like, you know what? Because he bought a bunch of the Democrats and they were asking him about lobbying. And what was his quote? Something to the effect of, they're going to do what I tell them to do. That's what I bought them. How the lobbying structure works, that if you give the campaign contributions, what are they going to do? They're going to do exactly what I tell. And guess what he's doing right now? Guess what? Exactly what he's being told to do. And it's funny because a lot of people who voted for Trump get that. There are a lot of moderates over there. They don't talk to you. They talk to me. They probably don't. Maybe they don't talk to you because you're still attacking Donald Trump for grabbing him in the pussy, and your husband does that. He did it too when he was that age. Or he talked like it. I'm not going to tell y'all what your husband say when y'all not around. You might think that, that they don't talk like Trump. I'm going to tell you, I'm a guy. I know what guys say when y'all not around. But they got you attacking him emotionally and personally and identity. And so people don't want to talk to you. But when you want to deal in unity and you want to deal with Obama voters, Clinton voters, Trump voters, people who vote and get attached to, listen, I'm doing my best because I think I'm going to make a change in the world and I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Why? I don't know why. You know, do I think that there were reasons to vote for Trump? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I didn't believe him. I didn't believe any of the reasons, but there were reasons, right? He was different. He was not a politician. He was not a career liar. He didn't come from a lawyer. He wasn't a constitutional lawyer who studied the Constitution so he can figure out where the hell to break it, destroy it, step on it, burn, piss it, jump on it, so corporations can make a lot of money. He wasn't a lawyer. He was an actor and a real estate tycoon. But at a certain point in time, you have to look at it and say, well, he's doing what the other side was planning on doing, right? Because what the big trade deal, it doesn't make U.S. jobs. It doesn't make U.S. jobs at all. These big trade deals make jobs in China. They make jobs in the places that have the cheapest labor. So now he's talking about the biggest trade deal. Nothing's different. You always get the same thing. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Money, 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 or die. That's all it is, Tina. It's very simple. Fight other people. That's all they get us to do. The other time, that's times Tina said that. And the other time, that's fight other people. As long as you're fighting other people, ignoring the system gets stronger. It moves on, gets more powerful. Same stuff, different day. Thank you, Jasmine. It's the same thing. Same thing. Doesn't matter who's in there. Doesn't matter what the face is. Doesn't matter. And I can leave this face up here and people start coming in. It's like, yeah, you know, they've already agreeing with whatever said because they see the face and they're all ready for it. Because it's Trump, they're already against it because they voted for Clinton, and you just sit here and think that, you know what, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter, because you think it matters. All right, I'll let the rest of it.
Huawei's chief financial officer and daughter of the company's founder, Meng Wanzhou, was arrested earlier this month in Canada. She is accused of violating American sanctions on Iran. Ms. Wanzhou was bailed by a Canadian court on Tuesday.
Oh, this is important. So Huang Dun, she was great. They grabbed her, right? Because she's the CEO or CFO of the company that makes mobile devices that won't let the NSA put their spyware on it. Because in their spying, China's spying the same way they're spying, but they're mad because China's spying doing what they doing. And so they grabbed her. And because she's a CFO, so she's being held in Canada. Look what happened next.
But still faces extradition to the US. If that happens, she could potentially receive a hefty prison sentence. Well, Beijing is demanding the release of Meng Wanzhou. It's detained 2 Canadian citizens, though, in a move seen as a retaliation. One of those held appeared to be a businessman, while the other is a former diplomat. Meanwhile...
So think about that. So now, China's grabbing people. Because Canada grabbed someone because America told them to. And it was always about money and control and power in the surveillance state. So now you're upset with China. China's a bad guy. China's a demon. They're grabbing people. Why would they do that? You have a right to arrest somebody that's not on your land? Canada acting like America's little brother? For me, I want to focus on the root of it. Stay on the root of it. Ignore what China did, because what China did was a response. It wasn't a cause, it was an effect. It was an effect of the cause. What is the cause? We grab their person. Why did we grab their person? Because your deep state wants to stay monitoring you and everybody on this planet and doesn't want any competition. That's why they're there. That's why I don't think nations exist. I still don't. I don't believe nations exist at all. I think that they create this fantasy because it works. And so you got people now, they're mad at Russia, the other side's mad at China, and they think that these deep state security alphabet agencies are there for you, and they're not there for you. It's not their remit, it's not their job.
While America is considering whether to warn its citizens against travel to China amid the Huawei row. International and independent Chinese specialist Andrew Young explains why Trump's war and peace rhetoric on China now faces pressure from his neighbours.
Now, as far as Trump's remarks are concerned, he said that, well, if this Huawei lady, her case helps United States secure a better deal with China, then he would intervene. Now, immediately that provoked.
So if they can make a better deal with the billionaires in America and the billionaires in China, and they could agree to a bigger trade deal, bigger than any deal we've ever seen, making the TPP look like nothing, he'll pardon her. He'll let her go. That's why I'm saying that it's all corruption. It's just all corruption, people. Don't be fooled. Don't be played. Just and try to talk to people in a way that they will talk to you, but don't be played by none of it. We got to take care of each other. Yes, Victoria, if we take care of each other, we actually get to make it. We don't take care of each other, we all gonna die. This is fudge. Yes, it is, Dee Dee. It is very fudge, but it's how the world works. People want to keep it going. America's little bi. That's exactly. I'm sorry, China. I'm sorry, Canada. That's what you are, but that's what most nations out there are that have military power, right? Because if America makes the weapons, they hide the technology, because when Nikola Tesla died, they grabbed everything and they stored it all. They manufactured these weapons for a long time, whether based on electromagnetic gravitic drive, like Tesla explained, and who else was it? Bob Lazar and all the other whistleblowers, like the Egyptians said, and the Indians, and the Sanskrit texts, and the floating crafts, levitating crystals from that brother from the 1990s. If they took all of that technology, like the Germans did, and the flying ships they saw, and they took all that technology, made a whole bunch of weapons. If you were Germany, would you turn against America? Would you? If you were Canada and you had a country and y'all shared a border and they had all that stuff right there, would you actually turn on them? No, you wouldn't. You be there, this is what I be there, biatch. I just been right. All right, how far are you gonna put it in? The only people who can stop America is Americans. That's the only people who can stop it. And that's the whole purpose of dialogue. That's why I'm all about dialogue. I'm all about people talking. I'm all about people have to stop fighting. When people fight, they don't talk. Americans are the only ones who can end it peacefully. You think, oh, well, the whole world gets together, they can take on America. Oh, yeah? I think it'll hurt. I think a whole bunch of Americans will die in World War III. I think a lot of people will starve, will destroy the planet. We don't know the level of technology the American government has. All we know is they don't give a damn about you. And you can always go back to the USS Liberty if you don't think so. You can always go back to Pearl Harbor if you don't think so. You can always go back to, what was it, Operation Condor if you don't think so. You can always go back to the fact that your king is willing to murder you if it adds one more coin to his coffer. So why in the hell are you cheering? First generation, perhaps, in human history that actually cheers for their leaders like they're rock stars. Now, of course, the peasants used to. Pumping the circumstance, and the king comes home, riding a horse through the center of town, and everybody, yay! The king is back! The king is back! We're safe! Yay! But meanwhile, they're behind it like that, mother. If I ever had half a chance, everybody was that way because they were smart back then. They understood what kings stood for. They understood what the lords did. Today, somehow they've convinced you they're rock stars and these people give two damns about you. Exactly, Tina, you're just collateral damage. They could care less. Grow up and be an adult. The other thing I'm gonna say I appreciate was there was posted it yesterday. Everyone sent it around. I got like 10 of it. The video from the brother in France, and what he was explaining is what they want is something that resembles direct democracy. We're not standing up over some damn fuel prices. We're not standing up over a damn fuel tax. And it kind of explains how the bourgeoisie are disconnected from their people the same way the bourgeoisie and the oligarchs in America are disconnected from theirs. Those people want a right in their government. They want the ability to say what they need to say. And he explained they want something like a direct democracy. They want the citizens to have the ability to launch a referendum on anything at any time they want. The people in France actually want to run their government. Imagine that. A people wanting to run their own government. Now, do I think it'll work? I don't know. But it sounds an awful lot like direct democracy. And the way my brain works is that Either people control their land or the kings and lords and greeds and competition do. If the people control their land, they can vote for open source. If the people control their land, they can launch a referendum that says that you can't have classified top secret and you have to take down the Secrecy Act, that you can't hide 5,000 inventions on energy from the human race, that the human race is dying on the vine, and all the mammals and the fish in the sea, and we're creating zones in the ocean that nothing can swim, completely anaerobic. We're destroying all the reefs. The planet is shutting down. The ice shelves are melting. Or they're warming up. I don't give a damn, but we can say it either way, however you want to say it. We always die. The Egyptians have said so. Whether the climate scientists are right or the oceanographers are right, we always die. So they're standing up because they want a right to run their own government. In America, we just want to control what our president does with his penis. Or if she has a vagina. I laugh at it. That's why, to me, it's actually funny. All the real difficult problems were always solved. They were already solved. It's always just about energy, greed, money, and control. We shouldn't be in competition with each other. We should be working together as a collective. So did anyone see the meteor last night? No, I did not. You're disconnected. Oh, well, it's good to be disconnected, Susan. I didn't see it. I remember you told me about it. I wanted to watch it. I was tired last night. I was up doing a live stream, then I fell asleep. Then I woke up listening to Nikola Tesla, and I fell back asleep. And I woke up, and someone else was on the lecture, and I woke up, and it was Stephen Greer, and I was like, you know what? The aliens told me I need to talk about free energy, because energy's always been free. Solar generators have always been made, going back to the 1950s, high-tech solar panels, high efficiency, and they took it all and shoved it in their bank accounts because Ford and Rockefeller wanted you to drive a car from 1995 to 2018 and we're still driving them today. Nobody wants to get away from their TV. No, they don't, Victoria. That's why all we can do is get away from our own TV. Don't worry about others' TVs. We got to worry about our TV. You get smarter every day the less TV you watch. They know what to do. France actually educated their people. Yeah, Tina, they do. They know what to do, and they're doing it. They should watch their words. Citizens mean wards of the state. Ah, the civitas, yes, and ties going down into the law and understanding the words and how we use them and what they mean. I don't believe in citizens. I don't. I am so far down the anarchy. I'm scared to tell y'all how far down the anarchy road I am. They didn't push. I'm sorry, they didn't push me down. Y'all still posting pictures of war criminals and murderers and killers and rapers and cheering them and clapping for them, having funerals and tears and crocodile tears. I'm so far down that anarchy place. I'm just like, we don't need a government. We don't need a local, state, federal. We don't need none of it. We just need to let people alone. Let people be. Just let them do what they need to do. None of this works. None of this works. I'm okay with the whole thing collapsing. Start looking in the mirror. Be the change you seek. Exactly, Kevin. That's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing for people to actually look in the mirror and say, wow, you know what? I hold this up like everybody else does. But I think if you can do that, then we can actually make a change that might actually be effective. I hope so. Citizens don't have rights, sovereigns do. Yeah, Ty, well, we have to be sovereigns. That's it. And we have to respect other people to be sovereigns. We get to be sovereigns when we respect other people's sovereignty. But as long as we feel the right to tell other people what to do and they don't get to be sovereigns because we're sovereigns and we're betters because we're born in America, we're born in France, we're born in Germany, and other nations don't have a right to wake up in the morning and go mine their own minerals without us stealing it and murdering them. We gotta, Brother Kevin and Ty, look in the mirror, be a sovereign, and respect everybody else's sovereignty. And the world just works that way. It's actually really simple, I think. They're fighting to change the law. Yep, they're fighting to change the law. Lori, and at the base of it, they're fighting because they actually want to be sovereigns. They actually want to control the way their world works. Rockefellers don't want that. The Rothschilds don't want that. The banks don't want that. Whoever controls all of this behind everything that makes every prime minister and president, every government push the same way of massive control of the human population, they all don't want that. They'll do anything they can to stop it. And that's what this whole world is modeled in secrecy. Simple. No secrecy. The whole world has to be open source. Nobody can have any more secrets. Tesla said if we can understand these numbers, we can unlock the mysteries of the universe. 369. Aren't they all divisible by 3? That's interesting, Victor. You know what? I have to spend more time and look at what Tesla said. He unlocked so many things, and I think a lot of things he was just given as he went to sleep by whatever was giving them to him. And we have to continue down that path. But of course, the FBI still has all the Tesla documents redacted darkly. You think I'm lying? Go out to FBI.gov and take a look. You're still not allowed to know inventions that came out of the early 1900s. That's why I say your first stop, if you actually give a damn about this planet Gaia, you actually want to fight climate change, you actually want your kids to have a future, if any of that's important to you, step 1 is secrecy. Can't make any good decisions if you got secrecy. That's why the mainstream media works so well. They keep secrets from certain sides. People still don't know the bad things Obama did, and people still don't know that Trump is working on the biggest trade deal with China to make TPP look like it's nothing. People don't know these things because they have secrets, and they don't go look for the information. They spend the rest of their time on Honey Boo Boo. Socrates wasn't for democracy. Solon. Competiton said governments were unnecessary and that money always corrupts man. It does, Susan, and it always will. That's why building a society based in money is the stupidest thing that we have ever done. And if we continue along this path, that's what's going to extinct us. Man and ambition, they do horrible things when that ambition requires they starve other people. And I don't think we should be doing that. The other thing that happened in Congo, they burned up the voting machines. Y'all see that? They burned up thousands of voting machines. They burned them up. They don't want that crap. They want paper ballots. That's another thing to think about. What else we got? There's a whole bunch of good stuff in the news. Oh, this was interesting. And this is very positive. End on this. Put yourself in other people's shoes. When you can put yourself in other people's shoes.
The two families, the room is basically a replica of the two families, the rooms of the two families, the living rooms of the two families I've met.
It's an intimate introduction of two peoples alienated by conflict. This Israeli artist has drawn on his own experience of growing up next to a Palestinian neighborhood and a friendship that changed.
But as the years went by and conflict basically tore us apart, I was really puzzled about how close we are and how far we are from meeting. So geographically, very, very close, but the possibility to maintain and to establish and to kind of create a normal kind of way of relating and meeting each other was really far from the reality.
So this living room has been split into two. What you're looking at now is the Israeli family's living room, and then on this side is the Palestinian family's living room. The whole point of this exhibition is to humanize divided people, and that happens when you put on these virtual reality glasses and it takes you right inside their homes to meet the family.
This is the Israeli family who you meet while sitting in the Palestinian side of the room. It's a 360 view. The daughter talks about how she likes the singer Adele. The family sits together to eat, and the kids scuttle around the room. It's the same at the home of the Palestinian family. Here too they talk about their life, and the virtual reality glasses make you feel as if they're talking directly at you. A group of Israeli former teachers is visiting the exhibit when we come to film. They're immersed in the Palestinian family's home. One lady tells us that it's a visit she's never experienced in real life.
There was something heartwarming to see that it is in fact the same thing. When we see the home, the family, how things are flowing, it is the same thing.
To see that we are all human beings and to see that we are all equal, this is what is significant to me as someone who lives in Israel with this conflict.
The exhibit is at the youth wing of the Israel Museum in West Jerusalem. The curator tells us it's all about creating empathy.
Our purpose in education here is to break the stereotypes and bring us in a human level together.
Breaking stereotypes remains a real challenge in a deeply divided region where most personal relationships are defined by a never-ending conflict.
Never-ending conflict. Making empathy. Our side, their side. That's why I don't have a side. We're all just human beings. We're all just a bunch of lost cousins. Empathy is a default, but you gotta be evolving to tap into it. Try to evolve. I gotta go. This is Gerard. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Love y'all. Fight less, fix more. I'm out.